Hey, what's up everybody? It's KyFy. I'm glad you could be here yet again. If you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you heavy. You already know. If you are new here, welcome to a KyFy Theory. I'm KyFy, and this is the Zin-Finity Board. So basically, what is the Zin-Finity Board? The Zin-Finity Board is an elementally energetic grid that flows on a 21-part circuit, housing all aspects of the mind in a still life fashion. So let me say it again. The Zin-Finity Board is an elementally energetic grid that flows in a 21-part circuit that houses all aspects of the mind in a still life fashion. So basically, if you want to interpret it this way, it's known as a divination multitool, a spiritual multitool, or for tarot's purpose, the divine masculine approach to tarot. So anything that you can possibly think of is on this board. So anything that you're going through, there's a perspective here that's probably for you. So it's up to us to make that clear. So if you are interested in this video, this content, my page, my channel, basically this style of reading is completely new, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Is going to be more coming, and I just figured out a way to do it a little bit better. So without any further ado, let's get with it. Basically, I have some messages for everybody, and it starts as follows. The title of this reading is When Patience Isn't Enough, because I realize that a lot of people, me, struggle with patience. What is it about patience that makes it so cringe, right? What is it about it? It's like, you know what you have to do, and you're doing it, and why does it take so long? Am I worth it? That's where it comes to, like, should I be doing something else, right? So the message, another download that I got was, God told you not to give it away. What is it? What is the thing that you're giving away? Basically, your mind or your dream. When it comes up to your mind, there are certain things that you, I'm gonna just say acquired, but acquired in the form of a mental form, right? These acquisitions come through experiences. They teach you how to do certain things, and that specific action in itself is a form that you use during your life. So if that made any sense, I hope it made sense. Right? But the next part of it is, what if stagnancy is actually alignment? How would that look? Because most of the time, when you're waiting, when you're being patient, when you're being diligent, hopefully, most likely you are, and you're here because there's a lot of frustration, right? So when you're stagnant, what if that's God not allowing you to do anything else but the thing that you can do? So when it comes up to your dreams can get clouded by fantasy, because your fantasy is of the conscious mind, right? And the dream is of the spiritual body, you know? That's how it flows. The dream is in the spirit. Your consciousness creates a fantasy from everything that you've been through and everything that you want to go through. There's a certain style, there's a certain type of life that you want to live, and that forms your fantasy. But there's certain things that you came down here for, and that's a part of your dream. And should this fantasy and the dream align, that's when you like, you know, that's why we're here. Is your fantasy and your dream aligned? Are you stagnant because you are actually aligned in divine alignment? So let's get these cards down. So that 21-part circuit, I'm gonna start here, and this is what it sounds like. So first up is who in the world of emanation, what in the world of manifestation, when in the world of formation, where in the world of creation, and why in as part of the source. So it's everything outside of the circle that you see here. So that's where why is. Next up is, when you get this information, who, what, when, where, and why, now you have a base, and the whole scene is described, right? Then you go to what you know, starting off with 0. I know. Next up is the crown chakra, IB. Well, first up is Da'at, the throat chakra, which is I know. Next up is IB, which is the crown. Next, then is I want. Let me move this over. I want in the place of Hokmah, right? I need is Bina. Then after that, at Chesed, we have I will. At Geburah, we have I desire, right? This is sounding familiar because it's involved with the tree of life. And if you know, you know, this is the Philosopher's Stone. So I created the ZinFinity Board with that in mind. So moving on, we have Tiferet, which is I love, naturally, right? It's the heart chakra. Then it's Hod and Netzach, which is the solar plexus, and that is I do. Or I act, the things that you do, the rhythms that you keep, the habits, the functions, right? Then you have I feel with your side, the Seku chakra, right? And then last but not least, we have at the root Malkut, which is I am. And that's usually, you know, the great I am. What is so important about that? Because this is a place of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind, right? So if fear isn't stopping you, you have access to everything else that you see here. So this is what we have to tackle first. You have to be rooted. There's no other thing. If you are not rooted, you can't do what you even fantasize. So we got some work to do, right? After that, then it's when you get this information, there's a place called I care. And this has to do with the 8th principle, right? You know how you have 7 universal principles, but the 8th one is care. I care. When you see all of these aspects, these are perspectives in your mind, right? When you see all of these aspects, you think differently and you say, okay, because this is happening, I want to do this. Usually it involves some kind of balance, because when your conscious is balanced with your spirit, you achieve the energy for love to thrive. So balance brings love, and love is completely different than what you think it is. Love is movement, the actual movement. You love somebody, therefore you do something for them, and it almost feels contractual, and it almost feels like it takes away from you. But yeah. And that is or. So basically, I described who, what, when, where, and why, which is Soph, and Ein Sophor, right? Ein is I know, I be, I want, I need, I will, I desire, I love, I do, I feel, and I am, right? Then is the next part, which is I care, and that's basically clarifying the energies. As I said, it's elementally charged. So when the wrong fire, air, water, or earth is in the right, when it's in the wrong place, it gives me a sense of what's happening, so I can give you a better description of what's currently happening in this still life. Then after that, we get up to how. That's a really important one, because what can you do? We all know the details, we all know the triggers, we all know what we need to work on, but what can you do? Right? That has to do with the ifs. If you do something, if this happens, you do this, if you do that, if this happens. You understand the ifs is possibilities, right? So if I experiment in the root, right? If I express in the sacral chakra, if I integrate in the solar plexus, and if I transcend, then I will ascend. We go back to where we started. So we start at 0 and end at 0. 0 is Da'at, the beginning and the end. It makes sense once you get to it. So without further ado, let's get started with these cards, and I'm going to get them down right about now. Alright, so basically let's get started. Starting off with who. This is when you can answer that question or get a perspective of that question, who. Depending on what's going on with you right now, what's going on in your energy around you, things that you don't even understand, who is behind it, It has to do with what you meditate on. So when this comes up, I'm instinctively thinking that your mind is on something constantly that's kind of pulling you towards the worst of it. So you're conjuring according to what you believe can happen, even though you don't know. But that's really what I get with that. But let's see what it says. Who? So, drawing this card asks you to create more stillness in your life. Utilize meditation, breath work, and other gentle activities to relieve stress and bring more peace into your entire being. You may need a break from daily duties for clarity. Your current situation may be distracting you, so more quiet time and less attachment are required. Meditate on this symbol or practice this mudra to feel a universal connection within every cell of your body. So, universal connection. If you don't believe in yourself and you believe in what other people can do to you, for you, and everything else, there's a lack of spiritual energy at your disposal. Everything is being taken from you before you can actually use it. So it's almost like there's a debt that you got to pay before you actually do things. Now, yeah, let's move on with that, because that's what's in the place of the soul right now. What you emanate, what comes out your mind, your imagination, the thing that keeps going, right? So next up is what? That what question. What is it that I'm looking for? Any what question that you can think of. This has to do with a message. Have you been looking for a message? You know, anybody can say they've been waiting for a message, but messages come in many forms. Like, you could be seeing, typically you could be seeing numbers over and over and over again, but have you actually looked at it instead of just saying, oh, this number is for me? Maybe there's something you can read online that would say, oh, I never read that before, or I heard that word before, and that clicked in another video, because certain times there's peak information that you need to make all the points connect, all the dots, to connect all the dots. And just taking that little bit of, going that bit further, you can get mainly all the answers when it comes up to what. Because usually it's right around you and it's embarrassing. I always say it's embarrassing because the answers are literally right there. God is amazing. And God can put something right in your face, you will never see it. It's like that thing that you didn't see that was under the couch, but if you actually cleaned up, looked around, figured some things out, reorganized, you would have saw it, right? It's just random things that you never even think of that just pop out. I never saw this before, right? So that's what. When it comes up to when, this is in the mind, and this has to do with the new moon. And there is new moon energy coming out. I think it's like the 26th or the 27th of this month, I believe. Don't quote me, but whatever. Alright, so let's get new moon. So this is in the world of formation, and that's of the mind, the air quality, right? New moon. A new beginning, a fresh start, and an auspicious time to start new projects. Drawing this card invites you to begin again. Meditate on this at the new moon to bring new energy into your life. Write a list of intentions, dreams, goals, and wishes to support new direction and invite an inspiration. So when it comes up to when, you have planted things, you have started things. And you know how, what is it called? The bamboo tree. It roots for a very long time. I forgot how many years, but let's just give it a number 5. It roots and just keeps rooting for 5 years. And the next thing you know, at that 6th year, it would just pop up really fast and really far. And you'd be like, oh, this bamboo, it is actually a good tree. But it took a little bit longer because you needed to be rooted. There was a lot of fear. This is the area of the root, and this is guarded by the magician, and this is the air card, and this is not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be earth, so we're just going to turn this, right? Also, when it comes to the emperor, this is a place of water, emotions. It's being blocked by what you think, by your ego, right? The things that you think you need to do is being blocked by that, because you would rather use your judgment rather than believing in yourself. That's weird to say, because you're using what you know to judge the situation. But moving on, we have where, and this is boundaries, and this is in the spirit. the world of creation. So the energy for manifestation, that's where this comes into play. So this is guarded. I said guarded, okay, of course, because it says boundaries. But what is it about being guarded that you need? So sometimes being guarded can stop your opportunities as well as stop the bad opportunities. But when it's time to come out the shell, going through that hermit mode, that hermit energy is coming up. Going through that shell, you find a new place to be, a new world to live in. And it only requires you to protect the time that you have. Alright? So, boundaries. Stand your ground, be your own guardian, and take up space. This is not the time to play small. Honor your space and create healthy boundaries in your situation. Meditate on this symbol when you want to set healthy boundaries and stick to it. The Yagua can also help you keep your integrity and standards high. See, standards are beliefs. Basically, you believe that certain things should be a certain way. Now, this can be a programmed belief or something that you found from your true self to believe. I believe this because I've been through this experience, and now I have the information to know that I do not like this other thing. Sometimes you have to go through what you don't like to find out what you like. And when you can actually focus on it, it's in divine alignment. So if you're going through something that's really, really, really bad, how much you want to bet that you know exactly what will help the situation. But it's not just going to be a gift. You have to be able to maintain it. So don't think that you deserve it. You have to earn it. Yeah. So next up is why. So you have who, what, when, where, and now why. This is the source of everything. Why? Why are you here? Compared to why is this happening to me? It's all the same. It comes from the same source. The why is something that you really will never ever see, but it's the reason why you came here. Usually you kind of get attached to it, not attached to it. You connect through it through dreams and, deja vu and all these other things that say, you know what? If this was to happen to me, I can picture myself living my life this way. It's all kind of cursors to point out why you came here. The why is important, and this has to do with the divine masculine. So this is everything outside of the circle, and what that means is inside. This is secret area, so it's your crown chakra, right? The inside the crown, right? So this is the divine masculine. That's funny because it's the masculine energy, and it's the place of the astral realm of time. So let's get it. The divine masculine is the embodiment of logic, direct action, and strength. In his most evolved aspect, he represents the builder, the protector, and the guardian. Drawing this card can symbolize that divine masculine energy is needed to balance your current situation. It can also represent father, brother healing, and the healing of relationships with the divine masculine in your life. So this is why you are after, like I just said, the claiming of your time. Because you've been pushed around for long enough. You're at the point where it's almost like you needed like a father's help, in a sense. Yeah, I think I said what I needed to. So moving on from there, we have the next part of the reading, which is Ayin. And that's all the black cards you see here. You see 10 black cards, and we start off from going down the tree of life, then going back up the tree of life in the next part, right? So going down the tree of life, let's start off with 0, which is I know. And this is according to everything that you've seen so far, that you understood so far, the image that's playing out, the scenarios that you see, that's being called back up. What do you know about it? So this is called out, or this perspective is handled by the 6 of Swords. Now it's on suit because this is air and fire, and when you put those two together, whichever one it is, it can be. So what you know is intact. It's not manipulation, what you know, because it has to do with what you experience. The things that you haven't experienced and the things that are in conjecture, I think it's called, are things that you don't need to worry about. Worry about what you experience, because do you want to experience it again? You know the answers of where to go and what to do not to experience those things, or to experience those things again. So not that it's easy to figure out. When you focus in on this perspective of what you actually know, you get a direction to move. So moving on from there, we have what crowns the reading, which is the Fool. Now this energy right here must be fire or water. There's a specific reason, and that's because of this line right here. I don't want to get into it yet. If you go back to my previous readings, you can understand why. You'll understand in more detail, but let me move on. The Fool is off suit, but this is good energy to have, and I'm gonna explain why. In your being, you're not afraid of expressing that new thought. And that's where you have to understand that you have to keep it to yourself until you can protect it. Until you know the boundaries needed in order to protect it. You can't just tell everybody everything that you know about it. You can't tell everybody your current knowledge. Keep your conversations at a lower knowledge of where you are. So when somebody can actually see what you know, it's like, okay, this person has more to bring to the table, right? Because people like to one-up you. So if you keep it down here and they go here, even though you're up there, it doesn't matter. You can just keep quiet and just go about your day. And they can just say, oh, I'm smart. And you can just go about your day like nothing happened. And they'll figure it out soon enough. Like, oh, they knew. oh, you was just quiet because you just waited. Okay, yeah. It's almost like premonition, like you knew it was gonna happen, you waited, and then it happened, and you say, so what did you learn? It's crazy. What did you learn? But this is who you're gonna be at the end of the day. So you must have spiritual protection. Alright. So after I be is I want, and this is Hokmah, right? This is one part, the light side of the yin yang, the third eye, right? This is the light side of it. And this is represented by the Queen of Pentacles, and this is on suit because everything over here must be fire or earth, right? So this is on suit, and this has to do with where you're going and how you get there. So that's the Queen of Pentacles, and on this side is the Queen of Cups. And luckily enough, it's all a draw, but the Queen of Cups is also on suit. So let me get these 4 cards real quick so I can give you a good description of what basically the point of these perspectives are. So 6 of Swords, transition, leaving behind and moving on. Now you understand through experience that you must move on, and there is a decision to be made, and you're going to take some things with you and you're going to leave some things behind. But what's most important to you will stay regardless. So it's almost like you can't let go of the things that are attached to you and yourself. Your spirit is yourself. Then it went to the Fool. So innocence, new beginnings, wonder, and foolishness. So what is it about being innocent when you bringing out the best of who you are and not being afraid to do that, and it just happens without a thought, right? It gets attacked the next moment. So you have to understand, what can you do to protect who you are naturally? People will take advantage of it, right? So that's your being. What you want out of the situation, where you want to go, your direction, right, is the Queen of Pentacles. And that's practicality, creature comforts, financial security. Basically, you want to get to a point where you can do it on your own, and you can sit there if you want to. You can just take a nap in the middle of the day, on any day, and not be obligated to do anything, because you got yourself handled, and everything that needs anything from you has been handled too. So that's a great feeling. It's comfort. It's security, right? So this is what you want out of the situation. So the only thing, where the energies first gets blocked is your being. Then it went to the Queen of Cups. And that's compassion, calm, and comfort. Now this is spiritual compassion, spiritual calm, and spiritual comfort. What is the difference? Now, in your spirit, you won't be so antsy. You know how you just be prancing around, not prancing around. I almost said frolic, but it's the opposite of frolicking. It's being anxious all the time and thinking that it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad. Oh, I gotta do this. There's so many obligations, and these obligations are deterring you from the happiness in your life, right? So it's the opposite of that. And you have that kind of comfort, which is good, because you probably went through a moment where you knew everything that you needed. And now that you got here, you have to understand where you've been and how far you've come. Look at it. And then you can have some kind of confidence that says, okay, I can do it. I have done it. There's something to look forward to. Oh, that was the light. I am the light. That kind of talk. So moving on from there, that was in what you need, what you actually need, and that was a spiritual connection. And you have that. Moving on, we have the devil. And this is the earth card, which is also on suit. So regardless you don't have fire here, you still have your fire where it counts. And that's your solar plexus. So we're still good. Even though there's a tiny bit of an imbalance. You have a lot to use, and it takes patience with yourself. Yeah. So the devil. Materialism, addiction, and playfulness. Now, addiction would deter you for what you need to do, because you need to go back to that addiction. Usually, if you can make it addictive to do what you need to do in your life, you can turn your whole life around, because your addictions will give you that, what is it? Oh man, I'm about to say DMT. Oh man. But that word, but y'all know what I mean, right? Basically, you get that hit, and dopamine, thank you. You get that dopamine hit, and what if it's in the right direction? Just keep doing that. Make it a dopamine hit. Make it so, or believe that it's so satisfying that you can trick yourself, and then next thing you know, repetition, your body would just be like, and your mind would just be like, oh, we got it. Oh, we here already. I just got to do this. It's not that hard. You trick yourself, but it's actually the truth. So is it a trick? And this is why the devil is here. But it's on suit, because you're getting used to the tricks. You're getting used to the addiction. You're turning the addiction into passion, and that's a good thing. And that's keeping you more active. All right. Moving on from there, we have what's in desire, which is the Five of Wands, and this is off suit. Now, let's get it real quick. So this is competition, conflict, and rivalry. Now, why is this bad over here? When you want to have a spiritual connection to yourself and what comes out of yourself, the battle is with your mind and what it believes that you can actually do, the possibilities. So let's just say you cannot fathom what's next. So since you can't fathom it, you are battling what your spirit is asking you to do. I just dropped the whole book. So that's just like, that's the word right there. Moving on. That was just self-explanatory. All right. Next up is the King of Cups, and this is in the heart chakra. I love. And this is water in the place of air. Now, they're opposites, so that means that the emotions are leaving you what you feel as stagnant. The emotions behind everything. Because there's an emotional achievement. It's not just physical, it's an emotional achievement. There are certain things, you can get that car, but did you get that experience with the car, right? So, King of Cups. Compassion, control, and balance. Now, it's funny that balance is here because there's an imbalance of emotion. And what is emotion? These are my definitions. I tag them, I coin them, and yeah, so basically every trigger, every emotion is two things. It's data and energy. If you can break it down to data and energy before it actually becomes an emotion, that triggers you. you can use it in a response type way. So the data behind your trigger is the emotion around the time, around the who, what, when, where, why. Is the emotion around that. The emotion around, did it make you feel safe? Are you grieving? Are you guilty of something? Do you feel lonely? Like the emotions behind all of these things. Are those things fulfilled in your mind in totality? So that's why your emotions are out of whack, because there are so many perspectives, but we don't know them all. And this is the reason for this board. There are 10 perspectives. That's like saying I have 10 personalities in my mind, plus 5 bodies and time at the same time, and I'm living. There's so much to know about our mind, we don't even know how to use it. We're just in the box thinking that, well, you know how we learn it now. So 4 years ago, it was not like this. That's all I need to say. So, like I said, it was offsuit, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Moving on, we have I do. These are your actions, your habits that turn into personality traits almost, right? This becomes a part of you. What is it? It goes from thoughts to speech to actions to patterns, and then to personality traits or something like that. But it's levels to what you do, and that all involves your solar plexus, your actions. If you can make the good things become passions in this action, you know, it becomes second nature to do the better thing for yourself. Second nature to make the better decision. And this is why the Ace of Wands is here, because you're recognizing that. You're recognizing the power of doing it yourself. Not doing it yourself as in like thinking about it in you taking the lead instead of other, see, can't even, okay. Instead of other judgments, other people's eyes watching you. That's why. Other eyes looking at you. You have all these eyes around you looking for your mistakes so they can stop you and say, okay, you need to stop and work on this because I don't believe you can do it. And that's just deterrence, right? At the end of the day. And it can come from anybody. It can come from the people that you would least expect it, because these negative spirits work through everybody. You have to take people for who they are. They believe certain things too. Okay, my friend believes a certain way, so therefore I would take this with not a grain of salt, but almost like it. And okay, data, energy, this is what they've been through, and I can use these parts because this is what I'm comfortable with, right? Spit it up. Don't allow it to go. Don't retain that. You know, don't make it a part of you. It's not who you actually are. There's no space besides space for your energy. And if you push it out, if you do things that leave you in a sense of confidence, with a sense of confidence, you know, you can kind of just walk all over everything. But get into these emotions right here. I feel, which is your side, the sacral chakra, right? This is the Emperor, and this is a fire card. As I said before, fire over water, there's no emotion, which means there's no energy for your spirit to actually thrive. Only, it's like you're taking complete control with your ego. The ego is completely in control. So that's one-sided thinking, one-sided action, one-sided doing. And where has it lead you? Where are you now? Think about it. If you would have, the moments where you say, oh, I knew I should have did this. Oh, I had a thought about this. That's your spirit talking to you. You got to listen. And not be afraid to listen the first time. Don't think that you need to have 3 signs before you say, okay, this is the time to do it. Do it on that first time. There's no such thing as being wrong, because if you thought it was spirit would say, oh snap, you thought it was me. You listening. Okay, I'm going to protect you. That wasn't me, but now I'm going to talk to you. And now I'm going to talk to you. Oh, you responded. Now we got a communication. And these responses come through like your senses and the things you see, the coincidences and things like that. Your clairvoyant and your clair senses in general, right? So the Emperor, let's get it. I want to say that all major arcana cards are love cards. Love is different from the 14 energies that come through the Sephiroth. If you know, you know. Well, my reasoning is because between each Etheral is a distance, right? And the distance has to do with an attraction. If you are attracted to the other side, eventually whatever comes out of it will be on that other side. So it's almost like the movement that I was talking about from balance brings movement. Movement is love. Love is time, money, and all this other stuff. Yeah, I can keep going, but let's move on. The Emperor is authority, structure, control, and fatherhood. Now, you would want motherhood here instead of fatherhood. Why? Because there's a nurturing aspect. Instead of a nurturing aspect, you're being trained to... Ooh, okay. So, any person you choose to be with, in a sense, has to handle at least your lower nature. Be able to know what it is and be able to handle at least themselves through your lower nature, right? So if somebody cannot handle your, like, who you are in general, higher or lower nature, right? They're going to do certain things to make you respond in certain ways, therefore giving them what they need. You know, everybody gotta live, everybody want to survive. And that has to do with fear. So whatever they fear is what they're manipulating you to do in order to ease that fear. Right. So that's with the Emperor right there. Moving on to the Magician. So there's an unlimited amount of fears that can and will happen, and this is very tiring. So that's what this is. It can happen at any moment. It's going to. I can't stand it. There's no rest. And this is mental. You need something sturdy here. There's nothing to cook with. This is the place in the temple where you cook. This is where you put the things that get worked on for your benefit. You know what I mean? Like, you stand on courage. You can't stand on fear. So, the Magician. Willpower, creation, mastery, and adaptation. Now, instead of believing in yourself and training yourself to the point where you can actually manage whatever you're going through, it is really important that you adapt to this certain situation, because adaptation is key. Adaptation brings comfort. If you can hang, you will thrive. It's just how it is. Thrive or either do whatever you want in ignorance, but it's still the same thing. So, next part of the reading is Or, and I'm going to take the time to put the clarifying cards down. So, what needs to be clarified from the top of the Tree of Life to the bottom of the Tree of Life, it starts off with your actual crown chakra, then it moves on to Gebura, and that was the next one that was actually blocked, your desire. So, the secrets that come from you, your imagination is a little blocked. Your desire is a little swayed because of it, right? How can you don't know what you're going to be. So how do you know what you desire, right? You have to know who you're going to be at the end of the day to know what you desire. That person, who you are, desires something. So that's the disconnect. Then it went to what you love. Of course, you don't know who you are, so you're not getting what you love. You don't want to be that person yet because there's some kind of fear, right? So what you love is out of whack. Then it goes to your feelings. Of course, love brings, the feelings in the case is just the energy to it. The feelings is the thing that waters the seeds. You believe in a certain thing and it's passionate. The temperance involved, right? It's passionate, so therefore it's being given or seeded or powered by the energy of your emotion. And that is blocked. You can't add anything. So therefore you must use things, but you can't use anything because everything that you think of is going to burn for some reason. So it all starts off with who you're going to be at the end of the day. This is what you must know. And this is what I'm going to draw cards for. I'm going to draw the max as a max of 3 cards on each spot. And I want you to give me the time to do it. And that's going to happen right about now. Alright, so basically there's a lot of cycle work, and I'm gonna just not leave it like that, but that's the general download that I got from everything that I just drew. So let's start with what you needed to fix first. So you started off with the Fool. This is in your crown tracker, basically what crowns are reading, your secrets, your imagination, where it sparks from, the source of it, right? It started off with that Fool energy, and then it went to the Devil energy. Now the funny thing about this Devil energy right now, even though that it's still off suit, it must be water or fire, right? This Devil energy is over here near the will. So these tricks and these deceptions, these things that you think that you can use but are actually not for you, these these addictions and how fun it could be, right? You had to understand why you went towards those things, because what did it benefit you in the beginning? How was it in the beginning of these addictions compared to right now? And why do you keep running to it? Try to describe it. Try to actually put words to it, because when you do, you start to almost mentally grab it with your mind, and it's not so scattered. You won't be thinking about it all the time. You'll have a point of reference, right? So that's what you were after when it comes up to who you're going to be. And then it went to the Eight of Pentacles, and let's see. So diligence, passion, and high standards. The passion that I was mentioning before, you are passionate to understanding what's coming out of it. You see, basically there's a Fool energy here, and then there's this Devil energy right here. The Devil energy is about those addictions. Now you're piecing out those addictions to find out the beauty in it. And every time that you find a reason for what you're doing, right? Every time you find a reason, it becomes a power, because okay, now that you've learned so many things from that time, not from that time, since it was that long ago, depending on the time frame, you know what it is. You've learned so much, and you had so many experiences. What can you do with that pain now? Because this all comes from pain. And then you went back to the Fool energy that's still off suit, because there is something that you don't want to leave behind when it comes to what made you feel safe before. That energy made you feel safe because it made you feel wanted. People want to take advantage of you because you're waving that "Hey, take advantage of me" flag, right? It's a red flag for you, but it's a green flag for other people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're a mark. So, okay, I see what you're doing. I'ma just use you every time because this is what you want, and I'm not gonna get any. We agreed? Okay. This is what you truly want? Okay. It's like people are talking to you like you don't know what you know about yourself. Like you don't know anything about yourself. But you learned a lot more during this last cycle, and it won't come out the same way. We're gonna move on to understand why, right? This is the general principle of I care. So this is or. So Ein Sof 4 in the Tree of Life, or. In the place of desire, started off with the Five of Wands, and that's basically the wrong energy to have. It's a war going on when it comes up to who you are and what you desire, because your ego says one thing and who you are is another thing, right? So this Hangman card that came out next, it cleared this energy right here. So your desires will be kind of handled with this Hangman energy. The Hangman is connected from Gebuda to basically the solar plexus, and it goes through who you are and then goes through your solar plexus. So time and perspective comes into play when you start to piece out these events in your life. Actually describe them with what it feels like, what it was, how you can do. Certain times you can be strong, but to know what it is that you're doing to be strong, it's almost like it'll stop the thoughts in your mind because you have a point of reference. This point of reference is very sturdy, like something to build on, something to work with. Finally, I don't have to worry no more. I got the point, like the climax thought, like, oh, this is what this is. Oh, that's what that was. That's why I do this. And then you realize it, and then even though you can take the littlest baby step, it don't matter. It's just amount of time, and it's gonna be, you're gonna be out that cycle, right? So moving on from there, we have the heart chakra. It started off with the King of Cups. Basically, that's parallel to the water right here. So air and water do not mix. It just kind of tangle and fight with each other. You know what I mean? Compared to the other elements at play. It started with the King of Cups, and that's compassion, control, balance. Then it went to the star, and that's hope, faith, and rejuvenation. See, the passionate control compared to the hope and rejuvenation is your ego in control or your spirit in control. And that's the clear, complete difference. You're allowing things to happen that you didn't, not that you had no control over. You can defend yourself, you can do anything you want, but certain things are just out of your control. You cannot control people. You cannot control certain events outside of you. You can only do your best with what you have currently. So this star energy that's coming out, see, the star is connected to Bina and Yesod, right? So that's really what I have for the stars, so we can move forward. The next energy that was blocked has to do with your feelings, and it started off with the Emperor, and you can understand that kind of control and stubbornness when it involves your emotions, right? I'm going to do this thing because I do not want to have this emotion. I don't even want to go there or learn how to control it because it's painful. Therefore, I would never learn the thing that I need to know to claim my birthright, my power, what I'm actually asking for. But understanding that this stagnancy right now is the only thing you can actually do is work on it. So just work on it. Take your time. You have time. God is time. You know what I mean? God controls that kind of thing. And if you're thinking that you have a certain time to get it done before you don't have life no more, are you really in control of when you're going to leave? Yeah. Moving on, it went from that to the sun. The sun is also fire energy, but it's revealing fire. So there's that soul rejuvenating fire, that rebirth moment. But let's see what the sun is. Joy, success, celebration, and positivity. Now, being more positive, conjuring more positive types of energy. If you're having a bad time and you just scrolling online, and you know how the news feeds work, basically they give you something happy, they give you something sad, they give you something interesting, they give you something really disturbing, and then they just keep going through all of these emotions, having you everywhere. How about you just focus on the things that make you laugh and cheerful and motivated and things like that? Skip the bad things, because what you're actually doing, you're like cheating the system. Okay, if I make myself feel good, even though I don't actually feel good, it's the better thing to do rather than wallowing in that energy, right? Then it went from there to the King of Pentacles. Now, this is the earth energy. It does support water. It does support your emotion, right? Things do support what you feel. So the things that you have do support what you feel. There's a but at play. There's some work to be done. And that's, let me get it. Abundance, prosperity, and generosity. Okay. We are limitless beings, and what comes out of us, therefore, is limitless too. So you are a source. A source for who? A source for what? What is taking from you? Because this is your energy. You have to find out what that thing is taking from you. It could be a part of your addiction. You know, there's a balance in everything, even though it's kind of mixed up. So lastly, it went to the Judgment card, and this is water. Judgment has to do with your solar plexus to the root chakra, your kingdom, basically, right? A couple of months ago, I looked at the judgment card, and I was listening to this video, and for some reason I remembered structured water. Structured water is very energetic. It does so much. You can just look it up. I don't even know where to start with describing it. But basically, it flows better. It does everything better than regular water because it's structured. Now, that's emotions. But structured is something you can build on, something you can rely and depend on. So dependable emotions, things that you do to keep nurturing that sense of, I feel calm, I feel at peace, I feel safe, I feel this, I feel that. But the good emotions, this has to do with that judgment. Now that you looked over some of the things that's been bugging you, judge it. Okay, what is it? What is it not? And use the things that you need. Move on. It's so easy to say, but when you have how to do it or what to do, it's up to you to make that jump, to take that leap of faith. So yeah, at the root, Malkut, we had the magician card, what came out first, and there was a lot that was in the way. Just basically final destination moments all day. Just something bad is going to happen and you believe it, and you would try to make up things, makeshift, that will stop you from falling even deeper than you think you are. You know what I mean? Into the hole. Sometimes when you reach the bottom, you don't even realize it because you've been falling for so long. But if you was to plant your feet, get rooted, you will understand that, oh, this is the bottom. I can look up now. I can push off now. I can, okay, this is where I can't go any lower than this. This is my bottom, right? This is the lowest that I can actually conceive anything, right? That's also a point of reference, and there's no way to go but up, and that's comfortable. So, and went from there to the 7 of Wands reversed. So let me see. So this is giving up, destroyed confidence, feeling overwhelmed. Now, that confidence is very key, because confidence is important when it comes to what you want to will into this world. You need confidence in order to act on certain things, right? So if that confidence is destroyed because of what your soul doesn't actually need, your confidence in who you were is that's not who you going to be. So it's like you're reaching for the past you when you want to be the future you. I don't know. You're reaching for what made you comfortable in the past, and you're trying to put that mask back on, but it doesn't fit you anymore. I don't know how many ways I can really describe this, but I hope you get the point. And we're from there to the 7 of Cups. So searching for purpose, choices, and daydreaming. I love daydreaming. It's one of my favorite things to do. Trust me. But it has its, deficits. And when it has to do with everything you can imagine you can achieve, you're just putting weight on something that isn't even important right now. Can you actually get that thing that you're imagining right now? Or will you have to give it up because you imagined it so hard, instead of really understanding the present time and what you can actually have? In the future, yeah, you can have that car, so you don't need to be mad right now that you don't have the car. You can actually say, okay, I already have the car in the future, so therefore I'm going to just keep doing these things until that car is here. There's different ways to think of things, and it requires less energy, less strain on your mind. So it ended off with the Lovers. Even though it wasn't on suit, it did not end off with an Earth card. The Lovers is air. So you're being left in your mind, left in your thoughts. But these thoughts have to do with a union. Let me see. So partnership, union, and duality. The good thing about duality and union, that's balance. So you're balancing out what you already have. You're doing an inventory of your current life. So if you know what you have, you can use what you have. and you know what you don't have. So it's like knowledge is power. Take an inventory of what you have. You know they say you always have what you need, and you're not actually being held back. You're just not looking around. Very frustrating, but yeah. So that was I care, or that's or, right? Ein Sof or. Next up is the Star Stream, and this has to do with currently with everything that you know and the story behind it. What can you experiment with? What can you express? What can you transcend? What can you integrate into your life? And what can you transcend? And we're going to talk about the last part next, but give me a chance to get these cards down. I'm going to just do it on the fly like this. So first up in experimentation is home. Now, home is in the spirit. The kingdom is in your mind, because it's everything that you can see outside of what you already obtained. Everybody's life is not designed to look exactly the same. If we did that, we wouldn't even have emotions about it, right? There would be nothing to do. It would be a lot of lackluster in life in general. These differences make it interesting, and it's the reason why we keep coming back here. It's interesting. But that home aspect, understanding that there are pieces around you in your life that provide that home, and you are not homeless. You know what I mean? You have a place to eat, sleep, do all these other things, and live and commune, and these, you have that place. So take confidence and take pride in it, and walk with your head up, because walking with your head up with a sense of gratitude emotionally attracts the thing that you're looking for, and also the energy for what you need to do. So it's almost like a reverse psychology to the Matrix. I'm grateful for everything I have. You're not wallowing anymore. So the Matrix says, oh, I have to match that energy. I have to match all this gratitude. And then the Matrix is going to say, okay, what do you like? Then it's going to give you everything that you like according to what you can actually maintain, right? So the better you are, the more you work on yourself, the more you can actually maintain. And you get where this is going. You want things, you got to be able to maintain it. That's it. And it's for you. Be gracious. Have gratitude. Growth and shift. So in the place of, let me put one more card down. And guides. I'm gonna explain that one in a second. So integration, the card growth came up. As you learn, you implement. Therefore, your methods get better and you grow because of it. So let's just say you only did push-ups, then you learned about other exercises that you can do. Therefore, your whole body can actually be worked out and get better. Therefore, it's not just imbalanced in one place. Therefore, you can actually there's many aspects to growth and what you can do. As I keep pointing out these 10 perspectives, right? What are the differences? And how do they work with each other? So that means what's different about who you were compared to who you are now, and what can you use from that experience? In the place of transcendence, we have shift. And I really don't understand that right now. So let's get what the Oracle has to say, the explanations on the card really quickly. So starting off with home. You are being guided to come back home to who you truly are. That has to do with your being, right? Drawing this card could signal a change in your physical home or sense of where you belong. Pulling this card also symbolizes that wherever or whatever you are, your current situation, you can trust that this moment is in alignment with your higher self. It's literally exactly what I've been saying. You are not stagnant. You are in alignment. And it's crazy because God can block you too. It's not always the devil. Because if God wants you to do something, you've been praying to do something, and you can't see what to do, you'll be blocked until that's the only thing you can do. I hope that makes sense. So if it's frustrating, you're that close. Because you can't do nothing. You're going to find that outlet, and it's... yeah. Home. So that's what you can experiment with. Gratitude is what you can express. A deep honoring is present. Give and feel great thanks now for whatever blessings have arrived or are en route to you now. Drawing this card invites you to share your devotion or to outwardly express gratitude to someone or something for its presence in your life. Meditate or create a gratitude list for all that you are thankful of in your life. So, gratitude is kind of self-explanatory in itself, you know. Being grateful makes you that beacon for the blessings that you're asking for. That's what you can express. So, next up is growth in what you can integrate into your life. The things that you can do. The patterns and habits. So, a time of evolution and growth is here. You may be leaving behind outdated and antiquated relationships, mentors, beliefs, systems, situations, or environments. If you are inquiring about a situation or relationship, this card calls for a deeper commitment or a decision to let go in order to honor your journey. Drawing another card for clarity about which direction to take regarding your situation. So, if you're looking to move forward, you have to let go. And as simple as it sounds, hearing it and what you know you already had to do, it's up to you. Take your time with it. You have to learn how to let go. Make it a habit. Because the more you are letting go, the faster you can go in your lane. If you're holding on to the brake, you can never move. So, shift in transcendence. Miracles, divine intervention, the end of stagnation, and divine inspiration are here now. Drawing this card signifies an aha moment or sudden change in any situation that was stuck or blocked. A welcome change or answer you have been seeking is here now. Meditate on this symbol when you are feeling stuck or unsure of which way to go, or having a block of creativity. So, shifting perspective, that brings up this hangman energy. You've learned what you needed to know. Now you only got to rely on what you know, what you've experienced. And there's more. It's easier to stand on than something that somebody doesn't believe in. You know? If nobody believes in you, but your experiences are something you can believe in, you know, that's something that'll get you through. So, moving on from there, we have the last card of the reading, which is guides. And this is, therefore I will ascend. So everything that you've been through, everything that you know now, where you can go, guides is what you're going to help you ascend to it. Being guided for what? Guided to what? So, your spirit guides and ancestors are calling to you now. They surround you with their love and protection and also offer you their wisdom. Allow these helping spirits into your world today. You are not alone. Meditate on this when you need assistance from your spiritual team. So, guides are very important. Direction is very important. Because if you have a direction, you're not stagnant. You can move. So your spirit gives you the direction. It lights the way. It's the street lights to the road that you can't see. So even though you can't see the ground, the light, there's something to follow, something to chase, something to look forward to. And it's funny because a star shines in the dark. So that means that if you are in the middle of your dark night right now, you are the star that you're looking for. You are that bright light. So if you just roll with me, if you are that bright light and you're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, all you need to do is change directions and go within and walk that way. So you understand where this is going. And so that's the end of the reading. If you are still here, I appreciate you. Give it a thumbs up, like the video, and share it with your favorite reader. The reason why I'm doing all of this is because I have an app in mind with this whole concept. And if you liked it, the more you help me, the more you share, the more you comment on what helped you out. I'm here for perspective. And if you're able to see differently, the devil won't know you. And that's what I'm here for. So with all that said and done, I'm KyFy. Peace.